Well, hello there. I'm never really quite ready, but here we are. We're going anyway, ready or not. Wonderful. My video actually popped up over here. I keep trying to get this going quick, but it's a time-consuming thing, and I will work on getting the comments because I know I'm not going to be able to see unless Facebook changed their format, and I'm sure they didn't. That'll be a little time consuming, so I'm going to put that off right now until after we get started. So today I am really excited to share this with you. This is sort of a my own little creation because I wanted to use this Blessings of Home stamp set. Its flowers are really big. You know, this one is actually a pretty big one, and this is so cute. I wanted to use it too. I wanted to use all of them, and it's hard to get it all on a card, right? So, so I did this modified joy fold. It's you see these all over the place. I wanted to get all of this. This is from our crane of what is it? It's the Fortune of something. Anyway, it's the Crane dies and the Crane DSP, Designer Series paper. It's the back side. On the other side are some really nice gold foil cranes, but this is so pretty that I wanted to use it, and then I used this on the inside. So you have a lot of space, you know, that you could write on. For this one, I wanted to make sure I had one that was big enough to send photos, have a big space to write. Sometimes, you know, people, if you are working in an office or school or something, people will ask you to make a card for them that they're going to all sign for someone. And it's somewhat of a challenge to come up with a creative, really large card sometimes. So this one would fill that bill really nicely. So today I'm really super prepared. I've already got this on my website and linked to all the products you would need so you can see all the list of how to do. I also linked the tutorial so you have all of the measurements and everything. So that doesn't happen very often. So let's rejoice with me today. I managed to get that done. There's a lot of things on sale right now, and I would just really encourage you to take advantage of it. Remember, every time you spend $50 with me in my store, then I will put a little crow stamp on your Crow Rewards card, which I have a few of them right here ready to do that. When you get 10 of those, I give you a $50 spending spree on me at Stampin' Up! So it's one way to earn some freebies if you want to do that. Also, for every $50, I send you a little free gift. But you do have to check out as my customer, which means you will leave your name and address there and create a password in my store, and then that shows me that I can actually send you things. Otherwise, we're not allowed to contact you at all. All right, I'm going to use the Stampin' Up! Die embossing and cutting machine today quite a bit. That is on sale for 20% off this month, which is an unusual sale. We don't usually have that on sale, so take advantage of it if you want it. You also get free a bundle. Couple of bundles. Are bundles 20% off? Yeah, there's a select number of bundles that are also 20% off. So those are a good bargain also right now. Let's see what else. We have that wave paper, which is really pretty, and the dies and all that. And I'm not doing that set today, so I'm just not even going to talk about it. It's really cool though. And I have done it. If you go to my Pinterest page, you'll see what I've done with it, but there's a lot of people have done stuff with it, and it's really cool. So quick shout out if you're looking for people to follow to get ideas and all. I think one of the neatest versions of that stamp set I've seen yet is Leanne Graff. Is it Graff? Where did I write it down? Is it G-R-E-F-F or A-F-F? I think it's A-F-F. Anyway, she did something this last week with it that's pretty cool using Emboss Resist. So check that one out. Let's see, anything else before we get to, I can't think of anything, and I'm sure as I get going, I will think of stuff. So I did write down over on the side here, what the dimensions are of the cards that we're doing, or card. I'm only going to have time to do this one. And the card that I actually made with this is not, I'm not going to do exactly the same colors, but it will be the same principle. The flower colors probably will be very close. I'm going to use, today I want to use a Calypso Coral, and in the tutorial you're going to see the link to and get to has Flirty Flamingo, because that's what this card was Flirty Flamingo as your base card. And pens. So I still might stick with Flirty Flamingo. I kind of tend to prefer its colors over the Calypso Coral for flowers. All right, so I'm trying to get my live chat going. You know, so this is taking me a minute as always, because Facebook is having me click on live chat, then click community standards, click I understand. Like, yeah, we don't say mean things to people, and I understand, and I'm clicking it constantly here, and it's like refusing to recognize that I am following their standards, because we just aren't mean to each other, right? All right, it's not cooperating as usual. I'm gonna have to keep going. I'm getting so tired of Facebook and its difficulty in just functioning anymore. It used to function really quite well. There is a website, I haven't checked it out. So there's Getter, there's also Rumble, which I've already got Rumble going, but I don't think Rumble let me do live chat stuff. There's also YouTube, and I thought I didn't have enough followers to do YouTube live, but I actually might. So I think I might. So when I disappear off of Facebook, I won't completely disappear. I will leave my instructions about where to find me, and then you can do live chat with me. I think on YouTube, you can probably do it with me on Getter and Rumble. I will choose one of those. I can't do all of them. And then we will go from there, because this is not functional anymore. I can't take like 2 minutes trying to get my comments going, because it's not even recognizing that I've clicked on the button. It's still like sitting here, refusing to show me any comments at all. Like, no, I can see people are here. So it's just bizarre, you know. All right, so we will move on. So since I'm not seeing your comments, I'm terribly sorry. Hopefully, as we go, it'll clear up. All right, let me adjust this so that it's in the frame a little bit better, and then we're going to begin. All right, so first of all, it's a 3-panel, but all you're doing is you are using 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 pieces of cardstock. Again, this is, I'm finally seeing this thank you, Andy, for joining me and commenting. So I knew some people were there, I could see them, but thank you. Oh, good, you just ordered it, Andy. You're gonna love it. It's a really nice one, really nice one. All right, so what you're gonna do is you're just gonna have one of these flaps. I took it and cut it 4.5 by 11 inches. Okay, so 4.5 by 11, and then scored it. Pushed that in there and scored it at 8 1/4 inch, and I did that with both of these. But you're gonna flip one of them over. Doesn't really matter. They should look exactly the same. And one's gonna have the flap, and then this one's gonna go flap inside, okay? So when you do it, look and make sure that the one you choose to have this flap is actually exactly the same size or slightly larger than this side. You don't want this to be bigger, and oftentimes when we cut, you know, we're not exact Like this one is just a hair short, you know, not as wide. So this one would not be as good a choice to be on top. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just glue these two pieces together right here. And then that will give me a really nice surface. I'm gonna glue this on the inside though. Now that you're gonna be tempted to glue it like this, so that you've got a clean panel, but you don't need to worry about it because we're going to put DSP over that whole thing, and you do not want the back of your card looking like this. Now, one thing, I don't know if you can see it on your camera. Obviously, my card, yeah, you can, good. My cardstock is much lighter here than here. It fit, and here I can see there's a sun fading where on my, I have all my cardstock in my bookcase behind me, and this room gets tons of sun. So it's been in the sun and it's bleached the cardstock some. So, you know, just for you to know, if you don't want your, I'm not gonna worry about it. I just won't be cutting, I won't be using these parts that show, you know, these bleached parts. But if I didn't want it to be bleached, I would be needing to have it in a covered storage of some kind, because this, I like sun and I'm not doing without the sun. Like, I don't care that the cardstock is bleaching, I'm not going to be doing without my sun. So you want to make sure that it's like right at the edge, and I didn't quite get it there at the edge. You don't want that to be showing at all, but you also don't want it to be crooked, and for some reason I'm having trouble. So let me shut it and get it on there before that glue dries, because it's trying to... Why are you having so much trouble with this simple procedure? I don't know. But you are. This morning I woke up pretty early. We had a really big rainstorm last night, and it didn't keep me awake. The rainstorm didn't keep me awake, and I wasn't worried about it. I know there were some tornadoes in Illinois that were really devastating, and there was a tornado watch in a couple of counties that are near us, but they're not our counties, so I, you know, wasn't worried about anything like that. But for some reason, I just wasn't awake. So at about 5 in the morning, I finally just thought, I'm going to take one of those little, you know, vitamins, supposedly calming and relaxing you so you can sleep, just so I could get another hour's sleep. Didn't work. I took it, but it didn't work. All right, so the paper I used on the inside, I'm using that as an excuse for why I'm flubbing there with my glue. This is the Heart and Home paper that comes with your Honeybee set. And there's, in several of our papers, there's some nice wood grain. This is what's on this side. I want to use this wood grain from that paper to cover up this middle panel. And then this paper is what I'm going to be using for the outside instead of the crane one, because this one is, I've used it all up. I only have like one sheet left of this, and I want to use the cranes that are on the other side, so I'm not going to be able to use that. So I decided to, instead I'm getting out my Flowering Fields designer paper. This is from our tulips package, the Flowering Fields. Has all these really nice tulips, and I'm going to use this. Now this is not, you know, Calypso Coral, and it's not Flirty Flamingo either, but I think it's going to coordinate really nicely because I am using this Bumblebee / Mango Melody / So Saffron color in the centers of the flowers. So I do think it's going to work. It's going to look nice with this. Okay, so we'll give that a go. But that is not what you have in your tutorials. Okay, so just so that you know, I didn't link any of these papers with it. All right, so for this one, you're going to cut this one 8 1/8 of an inch long. So let's do that part first. 8 1/8, and then 4 3/8. 4 3/8. 1, 2, 3. Now this is supposed to be my front flap. Let's see if it is exactly what I want. I need it to be, that's about pretty perfect. I think that is good. So we're gonna leave that. You know, I actually am gonna take it off just a hair off of this darker side because I want a little bit more of that Calypso coral to show. It needs to coordinate with that flower. So I'm taking off not quite 1/8 of an inch, but almost more off of that. And that is gonna get glued on right there. Now let's do the inside with this DSP. And this one is, now this one can be bigger because I'm gonna be writing on it. Plus remember, I wanna cover up this seam that's right there. So this is gonna be, oops, I shouldn't have shut that, 7 7/8. Okay, so 7 7/8 is just that mark, couple of marks just before the number 8 there. Get out my extras away. And 4 3/8. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4 3/8. Now let's try that. That's the center. Why is that? Yeah, no, that's fine. I want it to be really long. And I want to leave plenty of space on the side so that you know, there's no interference with this closure. This needs to come off just a tad. It's a little long. It's not closing nicely. So we're going to take off just a little bit and see if that closes nicer. There we go. It does. I didn't quite get it glued on perfectly because I'm seeing some of that guard back there, but anyway, that's life. All right. Hey, it's nice to see you, Dan. I've been so jealous, and my friend Andy would be too if she saw all your deer. Oh, Andy, do you get deer where you are? I bet you do. We don't get deer in our, you know, anywhere near our house. The neighbors right across the street from us do. Their backyard backs on a really nice wooded, they call them greenways here. And so they have a pretty good little section. It's not an acre, I'm sure, but it's a pretty good section right behind their house that's all wooded, and I'm sure at times it floods a little bit, but most of the time it's just a really nice wooded area. It's really pretty. And they have a lot of deer, because when I was just visiting there, they said, yeah, we get deer here all the time. In fact, look, there they are right now. And there they were, like a mother and her little fawn and a couple of other ones. The fawn was bigger, so it wasn't like a little fawn really. But anyway, it was obviously young. All right, so that's going on the inside. And then this piece has this one that we cut out already. We'll stick that on there. Good, that looks like that's going really well there. So we'll put that on here in just a minute. So the deer don't make it over to our yard, and I don't have any of the delicious things that they might sample. They might, you know, stray over here to sample if I had all of the wonderful flowers and shrubs and stuff, but I don't know that they would, because I don't see that stuff being eaten at the park, at the Nathaniel Green Park, and it would. There's just so much for them to eat around here. I don't think they have to wander into areas that people are pretty thick in. You know, like those people's backyard, they feed them, I'm sure. I'm sure they feed them because they don't have anything that would be bothered by them. So anyway, it's seeming to me to just be a little crooked. I think I got it on just a little crooked, but I'm gonna have to just live with it. All right, so the next part you're gonna do is this little crumb cake thing. Okay, so you're just gonna take a piece of crumb cake and we're gonna cut out this Encircled in Beauty piece from it. Now, if you wanted this to be like a doily, they have a piece back here that kind of does that, but not really. It's more of a, you know, something to look at, you know, something through the card. So that's what we're gonna use. Let me grab my die cut machine over here and bring it over. Oops, there we go. All right, so this is the thing that's on sale right now, and it is very handy to have. You will want it if you're doing any card stuff. All right, so we're gonna just stick this on here. It just needs to be, no exact measurement. It just needs to be, you know, in the middle of this width. And there's plenty on the sides. I'm gonna end up trimming it a little. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but I'm gonna trim that some, I'm sure. And then I want it to be pretty close to the top, but not so close that it's gonna make it, you know, difficult at all. So I'm just going to run this through a couple of times to make sure. It has pretty good detail, so I'm going to do it a couple of times just to make sure. Hi, Jewel. It's nice to see you. I hope you're feeling better. And I hope your weather's good. We had a bunch of rain. You guys didn't get that, did you? And there was some tornado warnings here and there, too. Dan, I don't know if you guys got that or not. You might. We didn't really track it to see where that storm was coming from. Because it was just, you know, for us, fairly mild rain. It was pretty heavy, but, you know, not that big a deal, really. You can get pretty good rain going here. It's been fun for Jeff and I. We had some thunder and lightning, but actually not that much for this place. It was... Jeff kept saying, did you see flashes out there? Was that a flash? It's like, I don't know. I'm not watching it. I'm watching TV right now because it's not, we've had more exciting storms for sure. So that's that. Now this one has all of these really cool things on it, you know. This is probably one of my favorites. I have that doily one that we got years ago, and I like that one too because it has a really nice bigger doily. But the doily on this one isn't really a doily, but it's a nice big shape where you can stamp a bunch of things inside of it. This is the doily part, but it cuts out its center. So it doesn't work quite as well as the old doily for doily, you know, sort of thing. But I've kind of gone away from using the whole doily thing anyway on a card. I don't use it much because you can buy a doily ready-made in our catalog really cheap, and it's already made and they're colored, and you know. So right now I haven't needed it, but those things will retire, and then I'm going to be wanting it back, and I will still have my doily die to use. Okay, I'm not even using this right now, but I'm saving it because I do want to use it. And I'm thinking to myself, how did that even happen? I must have used the wrong die because I was supposed to end up with it cutting that out. So I used the wrong one. This is the one that I want. This is going to leave the image on this card. And if you wanted it to cut out, you would need to use this with it. And I'm not going to, because I used the wrong one, so I'm going to push this aside. We'll use it later. I'm thankful I have another piece right here. Warm, oh my goodness, Jewel. If it's warm, then it's probably going to get pretty warm, huh? Our weather's cold. We had some nice warm weather, but it's turned cold. They predicted snow this morning. There was a tiny bit of what looked like granular hail type, teeny tiny pebbles on our deck, but it wasn't out in the street at all. So, I mean, that just means it didn't do anything really. And I was very glad about that. All right, so we'll try the correct one this time. Same principle. We'll line it up here. It is a little larger, which is fine. Making sure I've centered it reasonably. It doesn't have to be perfect because it just doesn't have to be. Okay. I haven't turned on the air conditioning yet, but there were a couple of days it got super toasty in here, and it had been cold because it was right off the end of winter, and I was like, ooh, that actually feels pretty good. I'm not putting on the air conditioning for this, that's for sure. Okay, let's hope this turned out, because otherwise I'm going to have to figure out what in the world did I do, but I already know it did. I'm just I'm teasing you. All right, here we go. So that's the effect I was hoping for. I thought I was getting with that other one, but you can see what I'm talking about now as far as this not working out very well for a doily actually, because this outer part will cut the outer part away, leaving you a very nice wreath sort of effect. But you would have this center cut out. Now you do end up with a nice circle though. You might want to save that. It would make a nice mask for a sun or a moon or something, or even just the background for a tag. And doesn't this cut out nice? I really enjoyed that this has not caused me a ton of grief in getting rid of all the little chads. Do you remember that? Okay, there was a tornado watch near us, as I said, but it was like nowhere near us, so I was very grateful, because that is a new thing for us, and we're not very scared of that sort of thing, but, you know, Jeff is more cautious than I am in it. I was like, yeah, you know, I'm not gonna, it'll be fine. You get a lot of those tornado warnings, so I'm gonna respond, but I'm not gonna freak out over that. Okay, so here's what you're gonna do with this. Oh, it turned out perfect. Okay, so this 4 1/4 is exactly right. You're gonna cut some of the bottom off, but just line it up where you want this. Okay, you want the border to be the same. So since this is how much border you've got, it's like almost 1/4 of an inch, you will want that much on this end too. And then you're just gonna, once you get it where you want it, just fold it to the inside. Okay. And now you can see how much you want cut off on the back. Now my fold isn't perfect, so I'm gonna have to refold that, I'm sure. This doesn't have to be an exact amount, but so I'm gonna start kind of small because I don't want to take it all off. But this is lined up nice here, so let's stick that there. Get that nice and squared, and then my front fold will probably fold a little nicer. It looks like it will, so I'm going to go ahead and get that glued down, and then that'll help me when I'm trying to fold it. Now on the inside, I'm not going to be stamping right on this. That's what this is. I am actually, but just these little doodads. The tag is what's going to get stamped. So you don't have to worry about keeping any of this out, you know, and stamping it before adhering it down. And you do want to get some of this, but you don't waste your time doing a lot of this. The tag, that scalloped contours, big tag thing, that's gonna protect all of those little things pretty well. All right, so now we're ready to fold. I'm having to refold what I kind of sloppily folded. Trying to just show you what I was doing. And then since mine, I don't know why, I've obviously folded something off. That's why you can see this little edge, and that's why this isn't just folding perfectly like it should. It would if I folded nicer and neater. But any color that's a contrasting color for this center piece right here makes this die really stand out well. It's an easy way to get some kind of flourishy, filigree sort of stuff on your card without painstaking cutting out and placing, you know. I don't have a lot of patience with those kinds of dies. All right, so here we go. That is that. Now all we need is that contours piece. So let's grab that out. Pull this back in here. And that. This contours, scallop contours dies has this wonderful scallop edge too. And you could I'm using the second one down, I believe. Or is it the third one? Kind of forget. Let's test that. Maybe it's the third one. No, it isn't. It's the second one down. This big one, though, is perfect for really large cards. And just another piece of crumb cake. Been down to the park. If you've been looking at my garden blog or Facebook page at all, I've been putting all the good things that I've seen down there. I was surprised to see an actual, because I had planted an orange flowered witch hazel. In fact, I'd planted 2 of them, and one, the graft part, survived, and the part I purchased, which was Diane, I think, died. So I didn't even see that one bloom. But there was another one that I had that bloomed, and I thought, and from the pictures, you know, in the catalog, it was going to be beautiful. And I never saw one blooming at the nursery in the Tri-Cities, and now I know why. Because they're pretty blooms, and they're really nice, but you'd have to have a nice, really good background for it to work well. All right, so for this hello, I'm using the Biggest Wish stamps. I'm using the happy and the hello. And we'll just do that little hello right there. Now you can buy, in Stampin' Up's catalog, they have a pad that's uninked, and then they'll sell you the white, you know, ink, and then you're just going to ink up that uninked pad with your white craft thing. Well, I already had bought a white one like long before I started doing Stampin' Up. So I'm just continuing to buy their ink and then putting it on my white. So this is actually Stampin' Up ink. It's just not in their Stampin' Up case. So I'm going to just stick that little hello right there. It's not as white, I understand that, but that's because I'm going to have to use a chalk marker to make it whiter. Or a gel pen, either one will work. I might have used a gel pen. I might have to change that on my instructions because I think I did. I think I used a gel pen. All right, so there should be a word that is, there's my happy right there. Happy is what's going on the inside of this, like right about, oops, there, kind of in the middle. Okay, we only have to be able to see it. I could have got a better impression, but I'm really not too worried about it because I'm going to need to go over it again anyway. So I'm going to just leave it at that. And this stamp set also is the one that has all the little stars that I stuck all around just to just to make it look happy. Okay, so I'm gonna just do a variety of those, like all over here, just random. I didn't want to do, I wanted something kind of sparkly, but, oh, that's got to be on this one right here, so we'll do some here. I didn't want dimensionals because dimensionals, you know, are just, I mean, the elements that are like rhinestones and all are those are actually sparkly, but the problem is I didn't want bulk. So that's why we're doing this instead. Right, so are you guys buying any of those bundles that are on sale right now? I already have the ones that I wanted that are on sale, so I didn't really need to even worry about that. All right, so I'm going to get out my chalk white marker and see, but I don't think, it is working pretty good. If it will make it white enough, then this is a lot faster than my gel pen. It depends on how fresh your pen is, really, because I tend to not use these very often. I forget about them. And then I have like a couple of them because then I go to use it and it's like, well, it worked for about 1 minute and then all of the white apparently in it sort of disappeared on me. Now this part is a little tougher. You don't want to mess up your word. That's why this stamp set, this again, it's the Biggest Wish. This one's very friendly to you. Copy, oh, sorry about that noise. Copying over its words. It's not too hard to do. If I can do it, anyone can do it. I do not have good handwriting at all. All right, there we go. Now we'll just do all these little plus signs that are like our little sparkles. If you had some Wink of Stella and you really wanted sparkles or even sparkly gel pen, that would be cute too. All right, so that's that. Let's do the word on this side. Where is it? Oh, there it is, right there. I'm not speaking because this is the part that for me is a little hard. Okay, got it. Whew. That's the part that could have really gotten messed up if I had been blabbing. All right, so now this is gonna go. Now I know you're covering this up. You might not like to do it, but you are going to, and this is gonna go like this. Okay, now I'm not gonna glue it in yet because I want to see how far out I need it to be for my bouquet once I get that bouquet done. So that's the part we got to do next. Okay, this is done. We'll put you away. Clean up my mess a bit. All right, let's grab a piece of white. Oh, that's not really white. That has some the soaring swallows on one side. Okay, I need my cutting machine, so I can't put that away. And now I've lost my, oh, where did I put my stamp set? That is so bizarre. Oh, there it is. Okay, here we go. All right, so now for your stamp set, I'm gonna use, on this one, I think I stamped with Terracotta Tyler Cinnamon. Maybe it was Cinnamon Cider. But I was gonna go ahead and try it with our Calypso Coral, since that's what this is, but I don't know if it'll be strong enough. So I'm not gonna use this block. Normally I would just use that block, but I think to be on the safe side, because I might have to re-stamp it, I'm gonna get out my Stamparatus and let's just use that. need the big thick pad because this is a clean one. And let's grab off those magnets. You don't want those to touch. They're very strong and they will break if they do stuff. We'll just stick our paper in here, right to the corner. I'm gonna go ahead and stick this right here. No, let's stick it on the side over here. In fact, let's grab out the other one too, and we'll do them both at the same time. That'd probably be smart. Because I'm gonna be using the same thing anyway. Okay, now what I need to do, let me grab my chamois just to stick that under there to support that. All right, so I'm going to use Calypso Coral, if I can find it. No, not that. You know what? I can't even find you. So we're going to use Cinnamon Side. Oh, there you are. I see you now. All right, so Calypso Coral. We'll try it and we'll see what happens with it. Now I am going to cut it out. So if it, you know, makes a big mess on the side, then it's not going to make any difference. That's strong. Perfect. I don't need that to be stamped again. That is excellent. I think this really helps. Thank you, Freddie. I think that thing helps a ton. All right, you already have them, Jewel? Oh, you did? You got the mini stamp cut and embossed for your granddaughter. That was smart. Now, are you going to test it out before you actually hand it over to her? Are you going to test it out and see if you want one? Because I've been tempted by it just to see would I, you know, use it more often if it's just little and sitting right here. But no, I wouldn't. I actually just arranged my desk differently and put a console table we had in the basement that we really weren't using at all. I brought it up and stuck it in here by my desk so that I have more space. And now my cutting machine is like right there by my desk, so I don't even have to drag it out at all. So I don't really need it. I figured the little one I would never use much. Okay. I love the Stamparatus. I don't use it all that often, but I do love it. It's a really good one. I should keep it up on my desk instead of in this little case that I've got. I should just stick it up here on my desk and then I would use it all the time, wouldn't I? All right, so now we're gonna color. And that's the part that I think a lot of you like to just not watch. It's not like you like watching people color. It's pretty dull, actually, to watch somebody coloring unless they're very skilled. But, and even then, you know, it takes a while to blend and all. So it's not like people like to watch it particularly, but it's just a matter of, well, how did they get the coloring exactly the way they got it with the Stampin' Up! Blending pens. With the other pens that I have, it actually is sometimes easier because I have more of these lighter colors that I can use. So, having said that, we are going to start with the lightest pink that I've got, which is Petal Pink, the light Petal Pink. This is the lightest pink I have. So, for this card, because I want to have those nice light edges on these big flowers, I'm gonna just start right there, gonna go with that first. Okay, let's come in a little closer. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Now, since I'm going to be using other colors that are darker, it doesn't really matter how neat and tidy I am with this one. This one is, oops, I got a leaf, but that's okay. The darker color is going to come right into the top of those. I just am trying to get my edge in. All right, now what did I do with those little ones? Oh, those are actually yellow, so we'll leave that. Okay, so that is, I think, all I'm going to use with that, but we'll keep it out just in case I need to grab it back in. Now I want to go to the darkest part. So I'm just going to kind of trade off. So that I don't mess up my yellow centers, I am going to start with, I am going to get that colored right now, and I'm going to use our old, this is a retired Pineapple Punch, but it is the lightest yellow I've got. It's not, oops, quite the yellow I want, and I'm going to just haphazardly do its centers because I'm going to need to have some So Saffron to make it match that. It's going to have more So Saffron than Pineapple Punch. Oh, I missed that one. Let's grab that one. In as the edge. Okay, that's good enough for that. I don't want too much Pineapple Punch. Now we'll get our So Saffron. This is the light So Saffron. I don't want to color. I just want to get, that's too light. I'm going to have to go to the dark because I'm just doing the little dots in here. Boy, it's not cooperating. It's not very dark, is it? Is it trying up on me? I don't know. I think I'm going to have to grab out the next darker one, which is Daffodil Delight. Let's go with that. Light Daffodil Delight. Let's see what happens. Now my tip is messed up on that one. I hate that when that happens. This is giving me a little bit more of the yellow that's going to match the yellow in that DSP. So we'll stick with that. I want to make this center much darker. So I think instead of just going to a darker Daffodil Delight, we'll get Mango Melody. This is the darkest yellow we have right now. And I'm going to do the lines in that center bit just to get some depth into it. And put that away so I don't accidentally use it. This is Light Daffodil Delight, and we needed the dark one. Let's put my So Saffron together here so that I don't get them all mixed up. Light, dark. Let's go with dark. Dark Daffodil Delight. There we go. That's pretty dark. Just trying to get a little bit of yellow in those centers. With the other one that I did, the yellow I used, I didn't worry about it as much because I didn't have any yellow in the card. But this one has got that yellow. So let's try our So Saffron again. The light one, just to blend that in a bit. Okay, let's grab that one. I think that's it. Now that is fine, but I did want some of that yellow around the edges. That was really pretty, and I shouldn't have colored it all in that. For these little ones, I kind of liked that yellow edge. That was pretty. So let's put that back in. The squeaking, I'm kind of weird. Do you remember when you were in school and somebody would squeak something on the chalkboard? Do you remember the days of a chalkboard? Because a whiteboard doesn't do that, because you've got a pen, a marker pen that you're using, so nobody squeaks on those whiteboards, but they did used to on the chalkboard, and the girls would scream, "Oh, stop that squeak." And for me, it was like, it's nothing. You can squeak all you want. That's not bothering me in the least. In fact, it's kind of fun because it gets a big, response, sometimes from the teacher who's sensitive to sound. And so it's actually kind of a, oops, I'm so sorry. I squeaked the chalk, even though tee-hee, it was deliberate. All right, now we're going to take this pineapple punch and put that away. I think I'm done with it. All right. Now our card is Calypso Coral, not Flirty Flamingo, but I'm still going to start. I don't know. I'm thinking, just to make sure, let's take our light Calypso Coral. Sure that, oh, that's Cajun Craze. I don't want that. Do we have Calypso Coral blending pens? Maybe, no, there it is. I see them. Yeah, I thought we did. All right, so the dark one, that's what we want. I want that right at the center. And I'm gonna see, is it too dark? It's pretty dark. I'm gonna just do those lines. Because it's so dark, it's covering up my detail that I stamped in, so I don't really want to get too carried away there, especially here. So I'm gonna just go right on those lines, not add anything else, and I'm not doing every line either. Let's see, I think I did these two. Oh, this is the part that if I was doing the video ahead of time, I would speed this up and delete a great deal of it so that you did not have to watch all of this. But this is the way you do it, and it's why coloring takes a lot of time, and many people just don't do it. I missed that flower entirely because I thought it was a leaf. Where did I put my petal pink? I thought those were leaves, not flowers. Okay, when you're doing this, you kind of want random, but on the other hand, oops, that is a leaf. I'm more careful here, but I'm trying to. You can dot like that if you don't want too much strength to that line. You can do, like, when you're looking at these lines, they are dotted. They're not straight lines like this. They are actually little teeny pixelated. So you can kind of copy that. Just try to do whatever is there already. You're just doing it in this darker color. We definitely aren't going to use the light Calypso Coral. That would just not do. So I think we'll grab out our light Flirty Flamingo and just see what happens when I color that. Yeah, it's not strong enough. I knew that was going to be the case. The darker one's not going to be either, but we'll try it anyway, just to see what happens. Oh, actually, I lied. That's fine. All right, so now we're going to be able to color right in there on this. So cute. Where we have our TV, I can't set up my stamping stuff. So I am not getting any work done in the evening hardly. It's been very challenging for me. And I'm falling asleep a lot watching TV because if I'm not stamping, I'm either eating to stay awake or I'm falling asleep. I have gotten a little bit better since I haven't had my stamp stuff there. I'm actually, I don't fall asleep quite as early as I was, but I have been eating more at night too, unfortunately. All right, trying not to eat, but I do. Okay. This is so cute. Now, I know this is dull for you, but it's very therapeutic for me to just see a flower take shape. This is not a flower I've actually seen, but I have seen a lot of roses with this pattern of yellow on the edge. Don't you love those peace roses? They're like this. Or Double Delight is a very strong magenta type version, not peachy, but that yellow on the edge. It's a common rose color, and you can find, I think Gaillardias have more of an orange color rather than this pinky color. They're really pretty too. All right, so that's that. Now, to get from this to my petal pink, you're going to think, what are you going to use? Well, let's grab our dark petal pink and work on it and see what happens. Just at the edge. So I'm not going into that lighter part at all. Basically, my little nib is washing out some of the Flirty Flamingo and just causing it to sort of blend in there a little bit. So I'm not dragging any of that color into the edge. I'm just washing out the edge of my petal pink a little bit. This is what we do when we don't like watercoloring all that much because it makes my paper too soggy. Or, in addition, I don't like the time of drying that watercoloring takes. I love the effect of watercoloring, but I'm either lazy or I like instant gratification. And watercoloring's more like slow cooker stuff, and I like Instant Pot, you know? All right, there's that. This is gonna look really good here, don't you think? All right, let's try to, again, just wash it out. Now, I do have other alcohol blending pens, and I want to warn you that if you are like me and you are mixing them with your Stampin' Up! Blending pens, they don't all play nice together. Like this is washing it out and drawing in the dark into the light, and also just, you know, easily smoothing out these edges very easily. But if you are combining alcohol pens of any other brand with Stampin' Up!, you will find that some of them do that well and some not at all. In fact, as you do this, you will get the effect almost of curdling your milk when you're doing a cream soup. It's you start getting this more, instead of it blending, you see like this is happening. It's looking separate. It's not only is it not blending, it's separating it more. So you just have to do a little test pat on one, you know, before you commit too much to make sure that they are ones that are compatible. Some are more compatible than others. Some colors, not types. All of the alcohol pens I've used, some of them are compatible with Stampin' Up! Ones and they will blend really nice. Some of those colors and some of the colors from that same brand won't. So you just have to test it and see. I haven't even marked them down myself because since I'm not selling those pens, I am never gonna use them a ton on any of these videos. I only bring them in when it's a color that we just don't have all something similar. In this case, for this background that I'm doing, this is working out really nice. I'm liking it. It's good. If the squeaking is bothering you, I'm so sorry. I hope it's not like sending anybody off the deep end out there. That would be bad. I was fine, and now I'm sort of sick because I heard all that weird squeak, 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 like a little weird mouse. Hi, Trudy. It's nice to see you. Thank you for sharing, Trudy, and reminding me to tell people to do that. I always forget. I do appreciate it, ladies, so much. And any guys, like my brother-in-law, Dan, thank you so much for sharing. All right, so now I'm taking this light petal pink back. That's what I did here. And we're going to just go over all of it. And if I go into the leaf, it doesn't matter because the leaf's going to be green. It's not going to mess it up at all. I'm going to need to do that yellow center in that flower. Okay, so now I've covered up all the white that I had on the edge. I think I'm done with this, but I'm not going to get rid of it yet. Let's not be too hasty. Let's grab that pineapple punch. Did the pineapple punch work? I think it ended up not working all that well, so let's just go with light So Saffron. I'm going to do that quick. And then the dark Daffodil Delight for that part. And then the light So Saffron again back in there. Okay, right there, right there, right there. Put these together, my little retainer rubber bands, keeping my colors together. Now, if I wanted to add any, this is matching my color of Coral Calypso really well, so I'm not going to add in any Flirty Flamingo, but I'm always really tempted to because I actually really like that pink. So if you're like me and thinking, I gotta have some more pink in there, just do it in that very little center area. But I'm not gonna bore you with that, so we'll leave it. All right, so now we're ready for the leaf. And I am loving the soft succulent. It's really pretty. So I'm gonna start with the light soft succulent, but it's too dark to do over the whole leaf. So I'm just gonna add in the little veinings part with this. And then I'm gonna use mint macaron or mint macaron, or is it, I don't know if it's mint macaron or if it's the soft sea foam. There's a lot of sissing in there, huh? Soft sea foam. That one's very yellowy green, and sometimes that works good. Now this dark tip is perfect for the stem, so we'll just do that. It's the exact shade I'm gonna want. And I don't even have a stem for that one. All right, so that was soft succulent. We're not gonna put that away, but let me grab the soft sea foam and the light version of it, and let's see if I want that around the edges. Yes, I do. So I'm gonna keep that one out, but let's take mint macaron, light mint macaron. That's perfect. Okay, so light mint macaron is what we're gonna use for kind of blending in the. I'm not going to the tips. I'm gonna use the sea foam there. You could use yellow also. Maybe I should do that because of the paper, the DSP. Maybe instead of soft sea foam, I'll use yellow on the tips of those leaves. The only problem with using yellow is great as long as you don't overdo it. Otherwise, you end up with a leaf that looks like it's got chlorosis and has been overwatered a great deal. So you just have to be a little careful about too much yellow on your leaf. It works good as a highlighter, mainly because it's just removing the green, not so much giving you the yellow. Let's grab some light So Saffron so you can see what I mean. Is this the light one? Yeah. All right, like on this one. Oops, is my camera out of whack here? Bring that down here so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so yeah, there we go. So there's some yellow there. I don't really like that. It's too yellowy. So we'll just stick with our light saffron instead. I mean, seafoam. Just to get my tips colored a little. I don't need to color every tip because actually, in fact, I'm not even liking that. It's pretty dark. It's almost exactly the color of my mint macaron. I don't know if that's because my pen is running out or what. All right, not done. You're gonna want to take a white gel pen. This is what's gonna make this pop out. All right, let me come up here so you can see what's going on. I've got to pause a minute just to make sure that, oh good, there we go. I want to make sure you can actually see what I'm working on. No, that's still not quite right. I'm sorry. There, I think that's correct. Let me peek underneath here so I can see. Yes, it is. Okay. So hopefully my pen is working. Some of these are not working as well as others. Let me grab a few of them. I keep a few handy because I got them in a pack, and number 8 is great when it's fresh, but otherwise it sort of runs out. And so this is going to just give you a little highlight on the edge. It's not quite so noticeable because I used very light pen, but if you have a darker colored flower, this really is going to jump out and make it, I don't know, just really highlights that edge. But for this one, it's not doing it much because it's pretty light already with that petal pink. It's not really even doing anything. So I don't think this is worth it. If this was, like I said, a darker color, it would be, but this is not, you're not getting enough of an effect for it to even be worth your time. But if there are any little spots you wanted to highlight and have it be lighter in color, you got it a little dark, then just use your gel pen, and then take your finger, if it's, you know, a little much, and just rub a little of it off, and then it lightens it up nicely, and it's, you know, saves you some effort if you kind of flubbed. Now all we're going to do is cut those out. We're going to adhere them on. Oops, sorry about that. And I'm just trying to clean up my mess a little bit so I can move. We'll set the camera back up because I'm going to cut these out. Let me grab my scissors. Aren't the flowers gorgeous? I mean, you can't go wrong with these. They're so pretty. Okay. And the stamp set has the dies in it. And what did I do with the stamp set? Oh, there you are, way down there. All right, so we've got this big one and this one, and then we're done. I haven't used these at all. They're gonna cut out, well, maybe I did on one card, I don't remember now, but they cut out, you know, nice silhouette-y type things, but I like to color my flowers, so I don't tend to use that sort of die as often. My plate's slightly warped, so I'm going to turn it over so I can make better contact with that magnet underneath there. Hopefully I've got it placed right. Isn't it frustrating when you get your die all lined up? You think you've got it all perfect, and then as you cut it out, you realize, no, it shifted, and I didn't notice it was shifting in there. All right, that one was good. get it the right direction. All right. Thank you again for sharing my videos. If, again, you're interested in making this card, you can find the link to the dimensions on my webpage. If you are not signed up for my newsletter, go ahead and sign up while you're there. I'm sure you've prompted many times on the website. I'm sorry if it's so many times, it's annoying. I'm not very good at setting websites up. I've done my best, but I think myself at times, I'm thinking, how many times does that pop-up come up? Because it's really annoying. So I apologize for that. But at any rate, if that happens, sign up for it. You'll get it once a week. I try not to sell a ton of stuff to people because most of us are already demonstrators and already connected. All right, so I'm going to glue this here. I want to see a lot of my little blossom bunch. Okay, so I want to see some of this. I want to see my sentiment. I want it to be centered. So this is going to tell me exactly where to put my label. So that's where I want it, is right there. So I am going to just go ahead and, I don't think I dimensioned it. No, I didn't. I just glued it. So let's eyeball it and see about how much glue I need. I don't want a ton here, because I don't want it overlapping, but I do want it to adhere really well too. Make sure it's not crooked. Looks pretty good. If it looks crooked, I think it's because my lines there were not perfectly straight. Okay, very good. Didn't get any glue on the excess. And then this one can cover up that spot that's kind of awkward. And you can set it however you want in there. Now you could cut out another contour label in white that you could write on to set on top of your DSP over here. But if you do that, you're going to want to be a little careful, because you don't want to, you know, you would have to center it here where it's going to get covered up with that. So it wouldn't actually look centered, but you could still have a little one right there, and it would give you a space to put a sentiment on, or just write another nice note. Or in this case, I was thinking that this would make a nice little photo booklet. You could put a little picture there, you could put some here, and you can write here. All right, last thing is this, and we are gonna be done. Now this I want to have dimensionals. It's gonna go on the top, so obviously that one can pop up a bit and be perfectly fine. All right, so, and it can go, I don't want it to stick to this, but it can stick to any of this. Let me make sure I've got it going the way I want it. How did I do it on this one? I did it that way. I'm not sure why I did it that way. I think it went with the sentiment, the angle of it a little bit better. Okay, so I can stick a few more of these on here too, if I'm doing it that direction. And that'll give them, you know, a lot of sticking power. That'll be good. We are waiting for our warmer weather. I've been looking at, not the witch hazels are open, the Hellebores are open. They're not as tall as they'll get. They're really nice. There's only a couple of crocuses down there. I hunted over the whole park. They don't have a lot of crocus. I think the squirrels eat a lot of the bulbs. The last time I was there, I saw one. I thought digging it up. He might have been digging up a nut, but he was in the flower bed where the daffodils are blooming, and they're really pretty. So it's been so nice to have a whole bunch of flowers in a garden, and I don't have to do the work for it. It's been so sweet. All right, there we go. Doesn't that look cute? These colors actually looked pretty good together. I'm not sad at all that I had to use a different DSP, although I still do prefer that one. Still not bad. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you turn in again. Turn in. Oops, my camera went nuts. Let's wait for it to stop. There we go. Camera, what do I do again? I have to put my hand over you, but you have to see my hand. I have to go like super slow because you're like not happy about being moved. I'm sorry, my cord is all stuck here. And what happened? My cord got totally stuck in here. Let me take it out. There we go. My goodness, oh my goodness, my camera, come on. It's like stuck here. All right, whew, I think. There, I made it. Whew, that was tough. All right, so I am back here finally after that. Boy, that was really a rough transition. Sorry about that. All right, and so tune back again with me next week, 1 p.m. Yes, 1 p.m. Central Time. Springfield, Missouri. If you're anywhere near me, please find me. I'm easy to contact on Facebook. I would love to do any classes, any groups at all. I'm just not really getting out there and finding people really yet, but I am available. So if you want to do something and you live near here, find me. All right, I would love to have you come on over. Our house is all set up to craft in pretty easily, so it would be fun. I think everything's covered, so I will see you next week. Have a wonderful week, and keep praying for all of our people and missionaries all over the world, but especially in the Ukraine right now, those who are fighting, and the people that are supplying them. Let's keep praying for them, and remember to be really grateful for what we have. All right, bye-bye.